Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Well, today we're getting seriously microscopic,
Oh, yeah.
zooming in on T helper cells.
Okay.
But here's the thing. We're not talking about just any T helper cells.
Okay.
We're talking about T helper cells
So,
in rats.
in rats.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll be looking at some fascinating research using a scientific article that explains how these oft overlooked creatures can give us incredible insights into our own immune systems.
Okay, I'll admit.
Yeah.
When I first saw rats and immune systems together, my mind went straight to the plague.
Right, of course.
But seriously.
Yeah.
The source material highlights some mind-blowing connections between
Absolutely.
what's going on in a lab rat's immune system and the breakthroughs we see
It's pretty amazing.
in human health, particularly when it comes to things like vaccines and autoimmune disease treatments.
To understand why rats are such valuable players in this field, we first need to really grasp the role of T helper cells.
Okay.
Think of your immune system as a complex army, ready to defend against all sorts of invaders.
Right.
T helper cells are like the strategists, analyzing the threat and sending out precise instructions to mobilize the right troops.
So not just foot soldiers, but the generals calling the shots.
Exactly. Now, within this army, we have different types of T helper cells, each specializing in a particular type of combat.
Interesting.
There are Th1 cells, Th2 cells, Th17 cells, and Treg cells, all working together to keep the body safe.
Okay.
It's fascinating how much diversity exists within this one cell type.
So it's like having different branches of the military, each with its own unique skills and tactics.
That's a great way to visualize it.
Cool.
And just like different military branches have different communication methods.
Right.
These T helper cell types use what we call cytokines as their signals. These cytokines are basically chemical messengers that tell other immune cells what to do.
Okay, so the T helper cell identifies the enemy and then sends out specific cytokine signals to deploy the right counteroffensive.
Precisely. For example, Th1 cells are crucial for battling intracellular pathogens, things like viruses and some bacteria that invade our cells. They release a cytokine called IFN gamma, which acts like a beacon, calling in macrophages to engulf and destroy those infected cells.
So IFN gamma is like a distress signal.
Yes.
Alerting the cleanup crew to come deal with the infected cells.
Yes. Now, on the other hand, we have Th2 cells that excel at fighting extracellular threats like parasites. Their signature cytokine is IL-4, and this one's a real game changer. IL-4 is essential for what we call antibody class switching.
Antibody class.
It helps B cells produce different types of antibodies.
Wait, different types of antibodies?
Exactly.
That's interesting. Is it like having different weapons for a different enemy?
Exactly. Some antibodies are better at neutralizing toxins. Others are great at tagging pathogens for destruction. This ability to switch antibody types is crucial for mounting an effective immune response against a wide variety of threats. And the fascinating thing is, we've learned so much about this process from studying rats.
I was just about to ask about that.
Okay.
How do rats even fit into this whole picture?
Right.
I mean, they might be smart, but they're not exactly immunologists, are they?
Yeah, but they are incredibly valuable models for understanding how our own immune systems work.
Right.
One of the most striking things is how genetically similar rats are to humans.
Really?
It's remarkable how much we share at a fundamental level. And this makes them incredibly useful for studying complex biological processes like immunity.
So it's like looking in a slightly distorted mirror. Seeing a reflection of our own biology.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
It is.
Does this mean that what we learned about T helper cells and cytokines in rats?
In many cases, yes.
Okay.
And it goes beyond just genetic similarities. Another advantage is that scientists have already studied rat immune systems extensively, giving us a wealth of knowledge to build upon.
So it's like having a detailed blueprint of their immune system's inner workings.
Exactly.
Okay, so we have the genetic similarities, we have the extensive research background. Anything else that makes rats stand out?
This is where it gets even more interesting. Thanks to advances in genetic tools, scientists can actually manipulate rat genes to observe how those changes affect their immune responses. It's like having the ability to tweak the controls.
Oh, that's cool.
And see what happens, giving us an incredibly powerful way to study how T helper cells function in different scenarios.
That's incredible.
It is.
It's like being able to run controlled experiments within a living system.
Right.
So by studying rats, scientists can not only observe how T helper cells function normally, but also see what happens when things go wrong.
Exactly. And that's led to some groundbreaking discoveries about how T helper cells contribute to diseases.
Right.
And even how we can develop targeted therapies to intervene.
Oh, wow.
Remember that table you pointed out?
Yes.
In the source material?
Yes, that's what really caught my eye.
Okay.
The one highlighting signature cytokines for each T helper cell type.
Yeah.
It's like a cheat sheet for understanding the language of T helper cells. I was especially intrigued by the sections on Th17 and Treg cells.
Okay.
Can we dive into those a bit deeper?
Absolutely. Th17 cells, with their key cytokines, IL-17, are fascinating because they play a bit of a double-edged sword role. On one hand, they're essential for fighting off certain fungal and bacterial infections.
Right.
But on the other hand, their overactivation has been linked to autoimmune diseases like multiple sclerosis.
So in some cases, these Th17 cells meant to protect us,
unfortunately,
might actually turn against our own bodies.
Right. But through studying rat models of autoimmune diseases, scientists have made incredible progress in understanding how IL-17 contributes to these conditions. This knowledge has led to the development of drugs that specifically block IL-17.
Wow.
And these drugs have been revolutionary for treating diseases like rheumatoid arthritis.
Wow. So by studying what happens when Th17 cells go rogue in rats, we've been able to develop treatments that help people with autoimmune diseases.
It is a powerful example.
That's a powerful example of how this research translates into real-world solutions.
Absolutely.
What about Treg cells?
Treg cells.
And their peacekeeping role.
Are like the diplomats of the immune system, always working to maintain balance and prevent things from getting out of control.
Right.
Their signature cytokine, TGF-beta,
TGF-beta,
is key to this peacekeeping mission.
Interesting.
It helps to suppress excessive immune responses. And prevent the immune system from attacking the body's own tissues.
So TGF-beta is like a calming influence.
Exactly.
Making sure the immune system doesn't go overboard and cause collateral damage.
And rat models have been instrumental in unraveling the complexities of how TGF-beta works and how it contributes to maintaining immune tolerance. This knowledge is critical for understanding autoimmune diseases and potentially developing new therapies to restore that delicate balance.
It sounds like we've barely scratched the surface.
We've definitely covered a lot of ground, but you're right.
Of what we can learn from these furry little researchers.
There's so much more to explore. Now, let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. How has all this research using rat models actually impacted human health?
Yeah, that's a good question.
One area where it's been absolutely groundbreaking is in the development of vaccines.
Vaccines.
Vaccines are essentially training our immune systems to recognize and fight off specific invaders. I'm curious, what role have rats played in this process? Rat models have allowed scientists to dissect the specific cytokine responses needed for vaccines to work effectively. They've helped us determine which T helper cell types need to be activated and what kind of cytokine signals need to be sent to create a robust and long-lasting immune memory.
So it's not just about exposing the immune system to a weakened pathogen. It's about understanding the precise...
That's exactly right.
...cellular and molecular conversations that need to happen.
And rat models have also been instrumental in understanding the role of adjuvants. Those substances added to vaccines.
Yeah, I've heard of those.
To enhance their effectiveness.
But I've always been a bit fuzzy on how they work.
Think of them as the hype squad for the vaccine. Amplifying the immune response. They basically give the immune system an extra nudge, making sure it pays attention and mounts a strong, targeted defense.
This is all so fascinating.
It is.
It's incredible to think that these furry little creatures...
It truly is.
...have played such a big role in protecting human health.
And it's not just vaccines. Rat models have been crucial for understanding and treating a wide range of autoimmune and inflammatory conditions, including rheumatoid arthritis, which we discussed earlier.
Speaking of rheumatoid arthritis,
yeah,
can you tell us more about how rat studies?
Absolutely. Rheumatoid arthritis is a really debilitating autoimmune disease where the immune system mistakenly attacks the joints, causing pain, swelling, and stiffness.
Right.
Rat models have revealed that a cytokine called TNF-alpha plays a major role in this inflammatory process.
So TNF-alpha is basically the rogue agent.
Precisely.
In this scenario.
Yes.
Causing all the trouble in the joints.
And based on this knowledge from rat studies, scientists were able to develop a revolutionary class of drugs called TNF-alpha inhibitors.
And these TNF-alpha inhibitors essentially neutralize that troublemaker cytokine.
Exactly.
Preventing further damage.
They've been incredibly effective.
Wow.
Significantly reducing pain, improving mobility, and even slowing down the progression of the disease.
Wow.
For many people with rheumatoid arthritis.
It's incredible how studying those tiny T helper cells in rats.
It really highlights the power of scientific inquiry and the importance of animal models like rats. And there are many other examples of cytokine-targeted therapies that have emerged from research using rat models, as you can see in that table, from the source material.
Besides TNF-alpha inhibitors, there are cytokine receptor antagonists, fusion proteins, and small molecule inhibitors.
Exactly.
All with the potential to target specific cytokines involved in various diseases.
And this is just the beginning.
Wow.
There's still so much more to learn about T helper cells, cytokines, and their roles in both health and disease. Rat models will undoubtedly continue to be key players in this ongoing journey of discovery. Their contributions have been immense.
It sounds like it.
And the potential for future breakthroughs is truly exciting.
Well, I'm definitely feeling much more informed.
I'm glad to hear it.
About the intricate world of our immune systems and the surprising contributions of rats to this field.
It's been a pleasure exploring this topic with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we've covered a lot of ground.
We definitely have.
And highlighted some really important points.
Before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with a final thought to ponder. Given all the incredible progress we've made using rat models.
It's a great question.
To understand T helper cells.
Yeah.
What other areas of human health might benefit from this approach?
It really speaks to the potential of this field.
We've talked about vaccines.
We've seen.
And autoimmune diseases.
How understanding the intricate dance of T helper cells and cytokines can lead to targeted therapies. And there are several areas where this knowledge could be applied.
Like what?
For instance, cancer immunotherapy is a rapidly evolving field that holds immense promise for treating various types of cancer.
Cancer immunotherapy. I've heard that term, but I'll admit.
It's a fascinating approach.
I'm not entirely sure how it works.
That essentially harnesses the power of the immune system to fight cancer cells. Remember how we talked about T cells being like soldiers in the immune army? Well, in cancer immunotherapy, scientists are exploring ways to train those T cells to specifically recognize and attack tumor cells.
So it's like giving the immune system a set of customized orders.
Exactly.
Telling it exactly which cells to target and eliminate.
And rat models are already proving valuable in this area.
Wow.
Helping researchers understand how to effectively engineer these cancer-fighting T cells. They're also being used to study the complex interplay between the tumor microenvironment, that's the environment surrounding the tumor, and the immune system.
Sounds like there's a lot of intricate communication going on.
One of the big challenges
between the tumor and the immune system
in cancer immunotherapy is that tumors often develop ways to evade the immune system. They can essentially put up shields, making themselves invisible to the immune cells that would normally attack them.
So it's like the tumor's playing a game of hide and seek.
That's a great analogy.
With the immune system.
And by studying rat models, Researchers are gaining insights into the specific mechanisms tumors use to escape immune surveillance.
Interesting.
This knowledge is crucial for developing strategies to overcome these evasion tactics and unleash the full potential of the immune system against cancer.
It sounds like this type of research
Absolutely. Allergies
could really transform how we treat cancer.
are another area where rat models are proving incredibly useful.
Okay, allergies.
Remember how we talked about Th2 cells
Yes.
and their role in antibody production?
Right.
Particularly the process of antibody class switching.
Right.
Well, this same pathway is also involved in allergic reactions.
Ah, so the same cells that help us fight off parasites
Exactly.
can also turn against us and trigger allergies.
But an allergic individual... Okay.
The immune system overreacts to harmless substances, like pollen or dust mites.
Right.
This triggers a cascade of events,
including the production of a specific type of antibody called IgE, which leads to the release of histamine and other inflammatory chemicals.
And that's what causes...
Precisely.
Now, those unpleasant allergy symptoms?
By studying rat models of allergies?
Like sneezing, itching, and watery eyes.
Researchers are getting a clearer picture of the complex interplay between genes, environment, and the immune system in triggering these allergic reactions.
So it's not just about identifying the allergen itself.
Exactly.
It's about understanding.
And this deeper understanding is crucial.
The whole chain of events that leads to those symptoms.
For developing more effective treatments for allergies.
Right.
Whether it's through new medications or even immunotherapy approaches that can retrain the immune system to tolerate those harmless substances.
It's incredible how much we're learning. They really have.
About the immune system.
And as we continue to unravel the complexities of the immune system...
And how it can both protect us.
There's no doubt that rat models will continue to play.
And sometimes turn against us.
A vital role in this ongoing journey of discovery.
It sounds like rat models.
Their contributions have been immense.
Have really opened up a whole new world of possibilities.
And the potential for future breakthroughs is truly exciting.
For understanding and treating a wide range of diseases.
It's been a pleasure exploring this topic with you.
Well, I have to say,
I think we've covered a lot of ground.
This deep dive has been eye-opening.
And highlighted some really important points.
I'm definitely feeling more informed about the intricate world of P helper cells and the surprising contributions of rats to this field. And I'm really excited to see what the future holds for this type of research.
We definitely have.
Before we wrap things up, I want to leave our listeners with a final thought to ponder. We've talked about how studying key helper cells in rats has unlocked incredible potential.
That's a really important point to consider.
For treating human diseases.
As with any powerful tool.
But with all this power to manipulate the immune system.
There's always the potential for both benefit and harm.
Are there things we need to be cautious about as we move forward?
As we delve deeper into the intricacies of the immune system,
it seems like this level of knowledge
is crucial to proceed.
Could have unintended consequences if not used carefully.
With a sense of responsibility and awareness of the potential risks.
So it's not just about the scientific advancements themselves.
Exactly.
But also about how we use that knowledge ethically and thoughtfully.
Take, for instance, the cytokine-targeted therapies we discussed earlier.
Right.
While these drugs have been revolutionary, many patients with autoimmune diseases, we need to be mindful of potential side effects and long-term consequences. Suppressing or enhancing certain parts of the immune system can have ripple effects, and it's essential to understand those complexities fully.
It's like adjusting a delicate balance.
Precisely.
Interfering with one part of the system.
Yes.
Could unintentionally disrupt other vital functions.
And as we venture into even more sophisticated areas like gene editing and personalized immunotherapy, the ethical considerations become even more critical. These technologies hold incredible promise. But we need to have open and honest discussions about the potential risks and benefits, ensuring they are used safely, responsibly, and equitably.
It sounds like navigating uncharted territory.
I couldn't agree more.
We're equipped with incredibly powerful tools.
It's a conversation that needs to evolve.
But we need to make sure we're using them wisely.
Not just scientists and clinicians.
And with a clear understanding of the potential impact.
But also ethicists, policymakers, and the public at large. These advancements have the potential to impact all of us.
Yeah.
And it's essential to have a collective dialogue about how to move forward in a way that prioritizes safety, well-being, and the common good.
Well said. It's a reminder that scientific progress,
it's been a pleasure,
should always be accompanied by a deep consideration of the ethical implications.
Exploring this fascinating topic with you.
This deep dive has definitely given me a lot to think about.
I hope our listeners have gained,
not just in terms of the incredible scientific advancements,
a deeper appreciation for the incredible complexity and power,
but also the importance of approaching this knowledge
of the immune system
with both enthusiasm and a healthy dose of caution.
And how the humble rat has played a crucial role.
Yeah, absolutely.
In unraveling its mysteries.
I'm sure they have, and I encourage everyone to keep exploring this topic.
That's the beauty of science.
Delve into the source material.
There's always more to learn.
Research those fascinating T helper cells.
More to discuss.
And maybe even consider the ethical questions we've touched on today.
And the potential to make a real difference in the world.
Who knows?
On that note,
maybe one of our listeners will be the next.
We'll wrap up this deep dive into the world
to make a groundbreaking discovery in this field
of T helper cells and rat models.
On that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive into the world.
Thanks for joining us on this journey
of T helper cells and rat models.
And until next time.
Thanks for joining us on this journey. And until next time, stay curious.